Sarah was an ordinary woman. She lived an ordinary life, filled with the everyday joys and sorrows that came with being a wife, a mother, and a friend. But Sarah possessed something extraordinary, an unwavering faith. Her faith wasn't a mere Sunday ritual. It was the very air she breathed, the compass guiding her through life's uncertainties. Sarah's faith was her anchor in the storms, her light in the darkness. It was a faith that whispered hope when fear threatened to consume her. Sarah's faith wasn't about grand gestures or public displays. It was deeply personal, a quiet conversation between her and her Creator. It was in the quiet moments of prayer, in the pages of her worn Bible, that Sarah drew her strength. She clung to the promises of God, finding solace and courage in His Word. One afternoon, as Sarah drove home from work, a news report on the radio caught her attention. The announcer spoke of alarming statistics regarding a prevalent illness. Fear, unwelcome and intrusive, began to creep into Sarah's heart. The statistics played in her mind, morphing into terrifying possibilities. What if she, or someone she loved, were to fall victim to this illness? The thought sent a shiver down her spine. The traffic light turned green, but Sarah remained still, paralyzed by the sudden onslaught of fear. Her breath grew shallow, and her hands trembled on the steering wheel. The setting sun cast long shadows, mirroring the darkness that threatened to engulf her. The once comforting familiarity of her car suddenly felt suffocating. Suddenly, a verse from Psalms flashed through Sarah's mind. "Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence." Psalm 91:3. It was a verse she had memorized years ago, a verse that had brought her comfort in the past. Now, in the face of her fear, the words came alive with renewed power. Sarah took a deep breath, willing herself to believe the truth of those words. She repeated the verse, slowly, deliberately, allowing the words to wash over her like a soothing balm. Peace, like a gentle wave, began to replace the fear that had gripped her. She closed her eyes, picturing a shield of protection surrounding her, a shield forged in the fires of God's love. Combating fearful visions with Psalm 91, verse 16. That night, as Sarah lay in bed, her mind conjured up vivid, crippling images. She saw herself struck down by illness, weak and helpless. She saw her family grieving, their faces etched with pain. Fear, a relentless tormentor, whispered doubts and anxieties. But Sarah refused to give in. She clung to the promises of God, reciting them like a shield against the onslaught of fear. "With long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation." The words reverberated in the silence of her room, a beacon of hope cutting through the darkness. She envisioned God's hand reaching down, pulling her from the depths of despair. Tragedy strikes, faith remains unshaken. Weeks later, tragedy struck. A distant acquaintance, a young mother with 2 small children, succumbed to the illness that had haunted Sarah's thoughts. The news sent shockwaves through their community, a stark reminder of life's fragility. Grief, raw and palpable, hung heavy in the air. People gathered, offering condolences and sharing memories. Sarah, too, felt the weight of sorrow, the ache of empathy for a life cut short. But amidst the grief, there was an unwavering certainty in Sarah's heart. A legacy of faith triumphs over fear. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. Sarah clung to this verse, a lifeline in the sea of uncertainty. She knew that while God did not promise a life free from pain or sorrow, He did promise to be her refuge, her strength, her ever-present help in times of trouble. Sarah's faith, tested by fire but not consumed, shone brightly. She became a pillar of strength for those around her, offering words of comfort and hope. Her life, a testament to the power of faith over fear, became an inspiration to all who knew her. Sarah, the ordinary woman with extraordinary faith, had found the secret to true peace, an unshakable trust in the God who holds the world in His hands.